Welcome back to another episode of the Bench Mob Podcast. We have here today, very well known throughout Jersey, tri-state area, probably even deeper than that. But we have Deon Mingo on with us today. Shooter, player, coach, trainer, successful at all aspects of basketball. We appreciate you hopping on today with us. How you doing today?
I'm good, man. I appreciate the kind words, man. I just, Greg reached out, told me it was a good opportunity to sit down and chat with you guys, and I really appreciate you guys having me on.
That ID.
No
that
doubt,
ID.
no. How has COVID been for you, for your family, and in regarding with sports? Like, I know everything has pretty much had to been put on hold, or practices are different. How has COVID affected your life as a coach, as a trainer, and has it affected you and your family anyway?
Well, as far as the whole COVID thing, man, it's just, we're living in a different time, in a different space, and we just got to be obedient to what, the higher ups are saying to do, are telling us to do. But, some people are having trouble with that. And as far as for me, my family is good. I had lost a loved one, my uncle recovered from it. And I know a couple people who lost some family members as well. But for the most part, man, I just, go to work, come home, try to, be as responsible as possible, because I have a daughter. I have three kids, actually, Deon Jr., Joshua, and my youngest kid was a girl, Lauren. So you got to be mindful in that aspect when you're doing certain things, going certain places, engaging with people or whatnot. Some people don't care. It is what it is. You can't, force people to wear a mask or whatnot. I know it's annoying, but you got to do what you got to do to feel safe and protected. And, if you're doing the right thing, you're showing, remember, we live in a copycat world. If somebody sees somebody not wearing a mask, I think it's okay not to wear a mask until something happens. Then it's like, man, this is crazy. But as far as, just staying safe, luckily, I hope it continues to stay the way it is. Nobody in my immediate family, has been exposed to COVID. So we're just trying to keep it that way. As far as basketball, I want to get out there and coach. I did some coaching this summer, and it was like you realize how much you miss the game and the little nuances of something as minute as being in the gym, working a kid out. All that was taken away from us this past summer. And, I hooked up with Wellington Smith, founder of Unity Legend. And that's how I was turned on to Greg also. And me and him was able to do some shooting work for the community. And whether it was in Summit, Madison, Chatham, we were able to do a league. And that was satisfying. And you realize how much you miss the game, man. You miss the game so much. So I'm eager to get back to coaching my high school team at Newark Academy. But at the same token, I'm not willing to do it at the expense of any individual, a kid, a parent, or whatever the case is. They feel as though they need to shut it down. Shut it down. You want to be able to live to see another day. So with that being said, I miss it, wholeheartedly. But doing the little trainings and working with, younger kids and working with, the high school team, you just get to the interaction. That's what I miss. The yelling and cursing, because that's what I do sometimes. But to get your point across, but you miss it. You just miss it. I just hope everything works out. We got a date set for January 11th. That's going to be our first practice. Hopefully it works out. But other than that, I've been fine, man. I'm trying to be responsible as possible.
Oh man, I feel that, because I got that itch to play all the time. I text you all the time, like I'm trying to get out there and hoop, like just and be safe, right? But like just find a way to get back out there and scratch that itch, because it's bad, bro. It's bad. I was shooting around on like an empty tennis court yesterday. Like you're just trying to find anyway. It's freezing in there. You're just trying to figure it out. Like you're just trying to figure out ways to get around the game again because it's been too long. But again, you're right. Not at the expense of family members being safe. I actually lost my grandfather to COVID. And we all had to run in the house with COVID too, like in the family, like when it first started, before we even realized what it was, we realized we had a run in with it. So, it's serious, but you made give me a good segue there. You mentioned, you guys starting on the 11th and having practice and everything like that, man. Like, what are you excited about for your team this year? I know Newark Academy, you over here rebuilding the program, right?
Yeah.
That's a huge accomplishment to even get them off the ground, right? They've had some good players in the past, right?
Yeah.
People sleep on Newark Academy. Like what are you excited about? What players are you excited about this year? I know you got Chase, and he's a good young player, and you're bringing him along, mentoring him along. So what are you looking forward to this year with this team?
Well, this is going to be my third year as the head coach at Newark Academy, and I was lucky to land this position. Just to give you a little background on me and how the coaching thing started and things of that nature. I spent 5 years I spent a year at Bloomfield College where I played for 4 years. And then after that, I became a grad assistant there. And then for some reason, I was like, you know what? I like college. I want to coach college, but I really want to get down to the bottom, which is the high school level, working with kids. So I went to a school called Dwight Englewood in Englewood, New Jersey. Small private school, not big for sports and anything like that, mainly on the academic arena. They're really well known. So I stayed there for 5 years. And when I got that job, now being from East Orange, everybody from East Orange, like, well, you should come back and coach, your old high school, try to be, in the community or whatever. I knew I could always go back to that, you know what I'm saying? But I wanted to venture out and see, what it's like being in an Englewood coaching with not that much talent, or you don't have players that's really, really good. So when I went up there as an assistant with a guy by the name of Eli Goldberger, who's my mentor. And when he took the way that I got that job is crazy because Bloomfield College played in a tournament in Boston, and we played against a team called Bentley University. And Eli is really good friends with the head coach at Bentley, Jay Lawson. And, I just put my resume out there, and I get a call from Dwight Englewood. And I'm like, Dwight Englewood, where's this at? Long story short, Eli he moved from Boston down to Jersey, took the athletic director job and the head coaching job at Dwight Englewood, and was like, can you come in for an interview? So I'm like, I guess. So I went on the interview, and he was like, I know you, right? I'm like, how? You know what I'm saying? So he was like, yeah, I watched you played against Bentley. You had a good game that game. I mean, we lost. I think I had maybe like 15, 60 points or whatever the case is. And he was like, yeah, I just moved down from Boston. I'm looking to rebuild the program. Do you want to be a part of it? Of course, the team was 1-22. And I'm like, I'm not about to be a part of this, man. Like, you ain't got no players here. All these kids play 2 sports, lacrosse, this, that. I'm not doing this. So I talked to some other people, and they was like, yo, it's a good opportunity for you to actually coach and actually teach. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna do it. Did it. I was the assistant. I'm learning the coaching game from Eli, how to deal with kids, how to prepare a practice, how to, motivate, just different things, the stuff that you don't see, man. And that's what prepared me to be a head coach and dealing with the parents, because a lot of people are always like, well, how do you deal with the parents? I learned 5 years prior to being the head coach at Dwight, being the assistant coach at Dwight Englewood. I was watching him. He's teaching me. I'm sitting in meetings with him and parents who's complaining like, well, my son isn't playing. Well, your son isn't playing because he hasn't come to no summer workouts, and it's September and we get ready to play in the fall league and he still hasn't played. But there's kids that's been here since the spring. They've been playing in the spring. They've been playing in the summer. They've been playing in the fall. How am I going to play a kid? How can you justify that to me? So that's how I learned how to deal with the parents and things of that nature. Fast forward a little bit, we go on. We won multiple conference championships, got to the Bergen County Jamboree quarterfinals, We played against Gary Nova. Gary Nova was the point guard. He was a quarterback at Rutgers. And they had a kid, Leonte Carew. He was the power forward. These were all football players at Don Bosco, and we're playing against them in the quarterfinals. And we're right there. We could pull it off, but it didn't happen. We won multiple. We had multiple 20-game seasons, 22-5, 25-2. And now people are like, "Yo, they nice," but you didn't see the backlog, the back work. Whereas so we went when we took over, they're 1-22, and we go 13-13, and we go 15-13, then we go 20 and something else. 21, 22, and then you realize like the best attribute you can get is the best satisfaction you can get as a coach is teaching kids how to play, even though they're not gonna play in college, but they're giving you everything they got, but they look like basketball players out there, and they listen to everything you say. So that was a big part in my whole coaching, evolving into the coaching realm or whatever or whatnot. And had a kid there by the name of Wesley Dickinson, scored 2,000 points, grabbed 2,000 rebounds, played at Dartmouth. We had this is crazy. We had Ty Jerome that played for Virginia.
Certified bucket.
We had Jalen Carey. Oh. He transferred from us and went to Immaculate. Mm-hmm. Okay, so we had a bunch of guys because Dwight Englewood was in Englewood, New Jersey, which is close to New York. The bridge is right there, so you could pull a kid from New York, bust him over, and it all works out or whatever the case is. You know what I mean? So I did that for 5 years. It was good. After that, I moved on to North 13th Street Tech, which is a small vocational school in Newark, New Jersey, and that's when I first became a head coach. It was really, really an experience. I had a ton of talent. My first year, I won 20 games. We go 20-7. Everybody thinks I'm reinventing the wheel. I'm like, I'm not reinventing anything. I just got some kids that can play. That's it. And I'm smart enough to know, like, I'm not going to be running this and doing that. It's just, 2-3, use our length. Everybody can shoot, and we're going to ride this thing out. We wound up winning 20 games, got to the quarterfinals of the Essex County tournament, got to the quarterfinals of the state tournament for Group 3. And then the following year, I'm coming off a 20-win season. Everybody loves you. It's all love. You getting, praises and accolades and this and that, and you win the division, coach of the conference, all this nonsense, man. Good, feeling good. 2 of the best kids that I had on the team transferred to St. Anthony's end of August. So now I'm like I've been here before. Like I can coach. I'm gonna work something out, And with them 2 leaving, now they left because of I know why they left, but the whole AAU thing, people in their ear, things of that nature, blah 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 blah, whatever, they left. Me being a young coach, I'm a little frustrated. I'm a little pissed off. Like, how can you do this? Da, 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 da. But that's when you realize parents, they will do what's best for them, for their child. And I get it. Like some people say there's no loyalty in the basketball community, to a certain extent. So you got, what I do is if a kid want to leave, I go ahead, do your thing. See how it is over there. Maybe you like it, maybe you don't. But you know what? The grass is not always green. It can be brown sometimes. You know what I'm saying? So you'll have to deal with that. So the following year when they left, we come back. I go from winning 20 games to winning 2 games. So now everybody is questioning. He don't know what he's doing. He don't know what's going on. How y'all lose that game? And I'm still young. I'm like, 20, 29, whatever the case is. I'm like, I lost my 2 best players, man. And you always, as a young coach, you always want to defend your players and you always want to get people to see what you're saying. But as you get older, you realize like it doesn't matter. You know what's going on. Those kids left, and me having that 2-win season, that's what led to me being the head coach at Newark Academy. Now you might say, how does that lead to that? You won 2 games. Well, one of the games that we won was against Newark Academy that year. So we're playing in the county tournament. I don't know how we made the county tournament. We won 1 game so far. So we get to the county tournament and they're like, oh, you guys got Newark Academy. I'm like, all right, whatever. Played Newark Academy, beat them. So we finish up with the 2 wins or whatever the case is. So I see the Newark Academy job open up, and I'm like, so everybody's like, yo, you should apply for that. It's like, well, you got the background, you know how to deal with the parents, you know how the private school sector work, things of that nature. And I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna do it. So I did it. And when I interviewed with the AD, he was like, look, we knew you guys only won 1 game. And when you guys beat us, they were looking at everything else other than basketball. How I dealt with the kids, how the kids were, their decorum on the bench, how am I coaching, things like that, constantly motivating, and there's like, that's what we want for our program. You know what I mean? So that's how the whole thing came about with the Newark Academy. As far as for this season, I mean, Chase Clark is he's one of the better players in the county. I think he can be one of the better players in the state, if he puts the work in, and he's putting the work in daily. Greg can attest to that. He's gotten bigger, worked on his body, stronger. Great kid. Great kid. He's very, very nice, comes from a good family. Mom is amazing. Great kid. I love everything about him. But there's things that, when I first met him, the work ethic wasn't there. And, we had to bump heads sometimes. Like, if you don't do this, this is what I'm going to do. So there were times his freshman year when I think you could have grabbed that rebound. And he's like, well, I don't think I could have got it. I could have had it. Okay, well, you're going to sit down. And those are the decisions that you got to make, as a coach when you're dealing with a young player where you see his potential and he doesn't see it right away per se. The bench, I tell people all the time, the bench is the best teacher. Just sit them down because nobody wants to be on the bench. You know what I'm saying? So little things like that. We got a freshman that's coming in this year, Brennan Oliver. He's a good player. He's from West Orange. I was lucky to get him. He's really, really good. We got a senior point, a bunch of seniors coming back. We only lost 2 guys from last year, and got a 15-game season pending. I hope things work out for the sake of, recruiting with Chase and things like that. Right now he's getting, recruited by Harvard, Bucknell, Lehigh, the Ivy, and a couple of Patriot League schools, and that's due in part because he's a good student too. It's not just the basketball aspect. Great student coming from a real sound academic institution. But that's where I think we're at. I think we're going to be fine. And I love being at Newark Academy. I love the kids. I love the administrations behind me 100%. Just a good situation. This is what I hear at Newark Academy all the time. Coach Mingo, you need anything? That's it. You need anything? What do you need? Let us know. Shooting gun, Vertimax, swimming pool, weight room, track, strength and conditioning. Everything I need is right there. And when you try to sell this to parents, the first thing they say is, I don't know if I can afford it. Well, you got to fill out the paperwork first. So it's based on financial aid. There's a ton of programs out there where we have collaborations with the middle schools in Newark, where a kid can come to our school based on grants and financially, and they don't have to pay anything, but, some parents don't know, and you try to educate them and teach them certain, give them certain information. The big thing with the Newark Academy is, they have a kid that's in the WNBA, Jocelyn Willoughby. She's in the WNBA. She played at Newark Academy, and I hear all the time, well, you can't do nothing at that school, right? You can't go D1 from there. if you can play, the coach is gonna find you. You guys know that. It don't matter where you play at. You know what I'm saying? If you can play, they're gonna find you. If you got grades, they're gonna find you. It's all about the work ethic too, man. And I tell kids all the time, it's gonna be hard for you to play basketball at a high level if you can't shoot a basketball. Find a way. I don't know how, work on that by yourself. Nothing against people that's doing their thing with the trainer, whatever the case is. Teach them to shoot, man. Teach them to shoot, and they'll benefit more.
So everything you just said right there, literally, it shows your work ethic from your coaching from a small school that nobody really knew about.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of as like, yo, I want talent, that's where I think you see a lot of the coaches where we have more respect for them. Like you look at teams where it's not as much talent and you're still able to produce. That's where you can find out you really coach. And you could look from your coaching tree. You are literally the epitome of work ethic. Just put the work in and it'll be a successful follow. You mentioned Bloomfield College. Could it have been any other school possibly besides Bloomfield? Because a lot of kids, they see they coach, they see they trainers, they don't know that they coach and they trainer was a dog. Like they actually played. Could it have been anywhere else?
We talk about this all the time.
That I could have played at, or
like could it have been any other school besides Bloomfield?
No, well, my whole thing was this, man. I was in high school. I was an okay basketball player. All right, I wasn't into AAU. I wasn't into big, playing a big role on the basketball team. I was a part of the basketball team. I was a shooter. The coaches know I wasn't scared. I work hard. That's it. Junior year, my senior year, I got a bigger role. And then I started to realize, maybe I could play college. I don't know where I'll play at, but, I know I got grades, but I think I could play. But what I always had coming up was I had good mentors, good males around me. Carl Wright, George Hall, Kevin Brown, all these guys will always tell me, you're one of the good ones. Don't get caught up with the other kids. Now, they didn't say that to say the other kids were bad. It's like, because at the end of the day, when you walk around in East Orange, Irvington, Newark, Orange, whatever the case is, you're going to have to make some decisions on your own. You're going to have to make some decisions on your own, whether when you're with your friends and when you're not with your friends. So I always had, those mentors and those older guys telling me, whether it was a teacher or a coach, telling me, yo, you got to be careful. Don't do this, because if you do this, this can happen. And then I had to deal with my grandmother in the house if something went down. And I wasn't willing to deal with that. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't willing to deal with that at all. I mean, I went to Morris County College for a year. And I get up there, it was a grind, because my grandmother was like, look, you're not staying here. I don't care about no basketball. You're going to do something. You ain't getting no job. You going to school. You got your whole life to work. So I'm like, you fighting, like, yo, I want to do that. I want to do that. I'm telling her I want to go to Essex County College because it's right down the street. She like, we're not sending you there. I know this much. You're not going there. You're going to go up to Randolph. I'm like, yo, that's a train, a bus. Like, what's up? This is where you going. All right. The coach was like Marcus Pryor. Never forget him. Great dude. He used to, and this is where I learned a lot of lessons, man. A lot of sacrifices. And this is what's missing today. Everything is handout. Yo, I do this, I do that. Marcus Pryor lived in Irvington. I lived in East Orange. And he was like, look, you're going to have to take the train up every day. You got an 8 o'clock class. We got practice from 4 to 6. And I'll bring you back down. All right? I'm like, cool. I'm good. I got a ride. If I miss it, I'll take the train. So I don't know how many times this dude left me when I was a minute late. 5 minutes late, left me. Now I got to take the bus up there. But he was trying to teach me something. He is trying to teach me, like, I'm not on your time. I'm taking you up there. You better be on time. So that happened about 3-4 times. Then I get to talk in the car. If you late again, you're done. You ain't on the team. You just gonna go to school and you decide if you want to go to school. So I'm like, you know what? I can't be late no more. Went up there, made it up there, passed all my classes, whatever. After my 2 years up there, I had like little offers. I played in this thing called EKB. I played in EKB, and I met the Jack Sullivan. He was the head coach at Bloomfield College, and he had just got the job. And he was like, "Look, I need a shooter. You know, I'm willing to give you a 2-year scholarship right now." You know, so I'm like, "Okay, I'll take it." That was the end of my recruiting right there. Beginning and the end, done. I wasn't trying to wait to see who was going to offer what. Done. That happened in June. August, I was on campus. Had a great 2-year career. Played good. We won. Learned the game. Coach Holmes, you know, he was. So the other thing was the guy that recruited me, Jack Sullivan, became the athletic director at the school the junior college that I left. So now the new coach is like, well, I want to keep you. I like you. You can shoot, whatever. We need shooters. I'm not going to let you go, whatever. And of course, you know, in the beginning, you know, I wasn't playing the way I wanted to play because, you know, I think I was 19, 20. And I'm like, yo, I should be playing. Y'all recruiting all these kids from South Jersey. I'm better than them, blah, blah, blah. You know, just that ego trip, man. And long story short, you know, at one point I was sitting down. I was like, yo, I think I'm going to transfer to Felician. And, you know, I get to talk from one of the old heads was like, are you stupid or dumb? Which one? Or are you both? He's like, you're not going nowhere. Just stay here. It's over, bro. You got 2 years. It's over. You're good. Figure it out. So I stayed there, and we went on. We won our first conference championship for the CACC, whatever. But it was so much fun. Met a lot of people, you know. Still, you know, got friends there, whatever the case is. But I'm saying all that to say this, like, I learned at a young age that, you know, and I try to fight it like, oh, let me see where else I can go. They shut it down quick. And there's not a lot of that's going on right now. Granted, there's a lot of kids that's way more talented than I ever was, you know, basketball wise. But you know, that mentorship and, you know, just telling kids, yo, you need to do this, you need to do that. And kids don't want to hear that. Some of these kids are, you know, telling the parents what they're going to do. You know, that's the world that we live in, you know. So I had a situation this summer where, you know, Chase was thinking about leaving. Go ahead, go test the waters, see what you like, how you think that's going to go. You know what I'm saying? Because if you leave, what's going to happen is you're just going to be one of many. But if you stay, you're going to be one. You're the one. You're the guy, you know, and I'll do my part as a coach to make sure, you know, you get your name out there and things of that nature. So to answer your question, it was only Bloomfield College and only Bloomfield College. That was it, man. No Oklahoma, USC, none of that. None of that. I couldn't go. I couldn't go over to Australia. None of that. It was one and done. That's it, Mingo. Get out of here. 2 years. See you later, bro. Got the degree. I'm out.
I think something you mentioned that was keto before we get to the next question. The mentorship and having that around you, and you also being humble enough to listen. Because a lot of kids, like you said, they might have that good foundation, right people around them. But a lot of times nowadays, me and Greg always had this conversation. We talk about it. It's kids now at 8, 9 years old, already got their highlight tapes. They got the 2.4 million followers. So the old head that's telling them like, yo, you should stay here, work in your game, get better, boom, boom. What are you talking about? I got 2.4 million followers. You don't know what you're talking about. And they end up just going their own way. So I think that's something that you mentioned that was key that I can see a lot of kids either don't have or don't listen to the mentorship and the wisdom that you can't have wisdom and the youth at the same time. So
yeah, well,
that's key.
You got to understand, Antonio, that we live in a society today where it's yo, you wash. I don't want to hear what you're talking about. This ain't 1995. That's fine. I'm 39 years old, man. You know, I'm so proud of my age. I'm so happy. You know, I'm not 60, but seen a lot. I'm old enough to know that if you go to the park to play, when I was playing at 15, 16, if you take a bad shot when we got game point, you're done. Don't come back here, bro. Go get your father too. We don't care. But you learn that in the park with the old heads, and it wasn't no debating. It's too much debating now. Everybody got an opinion. Everybody got the way they want to do it, which is fine, but, if you pull a kid and he or she decides to listen, you're lucky. You're very, very lucky. It's rare. It's rare to get a young, 9, 10-year-old, 15, you can forget it. They're gone already. 15, they're like, look, who are you? What are you talking about? Played at what? Bloomfield College? What's that, the bus stop? Get out of here, man. They don't want to hear that.
Yeah, they're crazy.
You know what I'm saying?
They're crazy now.
But I tell kids all the time, some kids, I tell them, you can wear my jersey. I don't care what you say. I don't care what you think you could do. You can wear my jersey. You know what I'm saying? And then it's just a different perspective, where, and this is going to sound crazy, but it's the absolute truth. And it's more of our community where they're like, oh, you don't know what he's talking about. But when you get a lack of a better word, a white kid, they're more susceptible to listen to you. Like, okay, all right, I see what you're saying, coach. I got you or whatever. That's the biggest plus that I have at Newark Academy. What I say is like, okay, coach, all right. When I was at North 13th Street, I had to play kids one-on-one. I had an out shooting contest. And then it's like, oh, coach know what he's talking about. Mm-hmm. So I got to go through all these hoops to tell you, like, yo, this is what's going to happen. Why is that? I don't know, but, the kids that I'm coaching right now, I got a great group. They listen to everything I say. And I'm 39. I'm still learning. I got great mentors that's always pulling me different ways, telling me different things and how to deal with kids or whatever the case is. But to answer your question, it's tough, man. It's so hard. You got, even with Chase, like, it took him 2 years to believe anything I was saying to him, and not because he is a bad kid or he don't want to listen. So you got to tap into different things also. This is the biggest distraction with kids. You know what I mean? So you got to lay it out. All right. Chase has a 50-point game, and I know he's itching to put it on social media, whatever. I say, you better not. Better not. This is not about that. This is not about that right now. This is about you building towards something. They're good. They know who you are. Just relax. But they want that gratification from strangers, people that you don't know. That like button. It's killing us, man. It's killing us. And I'm still navigating with. I have a 16-year-old son, and he laughs at me sometimes when I'm on Instagram. He'd be like, yo, you don't even know what you're doing, man. I'm like, I know. I need for you to show me right now. Just come here real quick. Because there's certain things you gotta learn or whatever the case is. But like I said, to answer your question, it's just if you get a kid right now and he or she listens to you, you're lucky. But it's a lot, man. It's a lot. It's too many people, trainers, coaches, runners, my boy, my man, all that stuff, whatever. Everybody has their own agenda. My agenda is like, I just want to coach. And don't get me wrong, I see, the Roselle Catholics, Hudson Catholic, all these schools are in my division for the state tournament. We knock one of them off in any capacity, biggest win in Newark Academy history, but I don't get the caliber of players they get. Why don't you get the caliber of players they get? People ask me all the time, well, can you get him? I mean, I can try, because one thing I know with Newark Academy, they don't bend on the academics and the entrance. They're not going to jeopardize their academic, relationship just to get an athlete in. They're not going to do that. And I had to be okay with that when I became the coach. And I was smart enough to say to them, like, I'm not going to be knocking on your door like, yo, I need to get this 6'10" African in, man. Come on. No. This is not about that. This is about kids like Chase, kids like Brennan in our community, giving them an opportunity to go to a great school and play sports. If you happen to be a Division I player, you're gonna be a Division I player. It don't matter where you at. Yes, they want to play more games. That's in a bigger stage or whatever the case is. But you know what? I'm not the commissioner of the SEC for our scheduling. I got to play who they put in front of me. If I could pick up a couple of independent games, I will. You know. So and what happens with that is like you pick up a couple of independent games. Newark Academy against Linden, smack. Now this is why I was telling y'all that we're not ready to play them. You know, and then they realize, oh, I see what you're talking about. So a lot of these kids, they learn by baptism by fire.
I was gonna say that because I had a similar situation arise last year. If Wellington might listen to this podcast, it was we had this kid named X who kept trying me at practice. Like whatever I said, it was almost like he could want to hear it. And we got to play and played a 2-on-2, and he was guarding me, and I put 12 on his head straight, and it was just like okay, like. And I didn't do this. I didn't do this at the collegiate level. I'm not a Deon Mingo. I'm just a dude who plays basketball and loves basketball. So what does that tell you, right? Like, what is that? So, like, yeah, I think there's a lot to that about this generation and these kids, just having to learn baptism by fire. But you said something that when you were talking, and we talked about this before. You mentioned the social media piece of this, right? And I was a question I specifically wanted to ask you because I think it's one of the most important things you ever said that, and there was no cameras around, no one was around, it was just me. And I think Ruben was there when we talked about that. But, you know, what do you think the negative effects of that social media is having like directly on the game, right? Because when you think about your journey coming up playing basketball, there were no cameras around. There was no social media. You went to the park, you worked out, you took 1,000 shots a day, however X amount of shots a day, you put in that work, right? And that's what it was, as opposed to now where if I'm going to the court and I'm 10 years old, I got to post this on social media. I got to have my guy recording me. They got to see me shooting. They got to know that I'm here. And meanwhile, what gets diluted in that, right? And not to answer the question for you, but just my take, right? Is that the actual work? Like the actual work. Like, what are you doing? What are you like? This you taking videos and having your boy pull up to record you working out is taken away from you actually getting some substance in work, some substance in your workout, right? So, you know, what do you think about that? Like, how do you think that's affecting it? Because we see it all the time. We see it all the time in every program. I don't care where you're at, but like, what do you think?
Me personally, I think social media is the gift and the curse. You know, I don't think it's a bad thing. I don't think it's the greatest thing ever. You know, we're evolving as a world, so technology is big, and social media is used for recruiting purposes. Also, coaches will be like, "Well, let me see his Instagram." You might have an Instagram highlight, which is fine. You know, so I tell kids like that can set you up for failure also, because I have seen a ton of kids workouts look amazing. Amazing. Oh, he could do this, he could do that, he could do that. But when you play 5-on-5 or 3-on-3 or 2-on-2 and there's no camera around, nobody sees that. Right? Not only that, you're showing me all the positives on your social media. You're not showing me I mean, nobody's gonna put anything bad on social media, but like I take it with a grain of salt. Put it like that. I don't read too much into it. You know what I mean? I like I'm old school, but I understand that we're moving into a new direction with the world, just technology the way it is. My practices are old school practices. It's like, look, black socks, black shorts, and your jersey. If you want, and they know, and this goes back to when I first took over my program. This is what I want. If you walk in there with anybody with white socks, we're on the wall, we're running, we do this, because you got to be able to remember the small things. Yo, black socks. Oh, by the way, did any of your teammates see you walk out the locker room with that? So year 3 now at Newark Academy, I don't got to worry about that. They know. So I'm building a culture, you know what I'm saying? So, and I explained to Chase, you know, like, look, social media isn't bad. He's like, because he said to me, Coach, how come you don't want me to put nothing on social media? I never said I don't want you to put nothing on social media. Just know that when you put stuff on social media, you got to live up to it. You have to live up to it. So if a kid, and this is what happens. Your peers watch it, right? Your peers watch it and they say, oh, he's nice. He's really, really good. And then they see you playing a game. They be like, yo, well, why he's not doing all the stuff that he was doing on his social media? Because that's not real. That's not reality. You know what I mean? So to answer your question, Greg, it's good and it's bad. You know, I think it's helping a lot of kids getting their product out there or their whatever the case is. But just know there can be some backlash with it also. It can hurt you, you know, so just know that you have to live up to it. That's all I'm saying.
Hey man, that's
somebody
that's
we had. Yeah, somebody we had on the show earlier, Bruce Thompson. He trains with Odell and runs routes and all of that. He was saying his perspective when it comes to the social media is like, yo, either you go on stunt or get stunted on. If you're putting these stuff, you have no choice. Like he was like, he uses it as motivation. Like if I put this up, I know I have to perform
to live up
when
to
it comes to, because I'm putting all these highlights up, I'm doing all these things, and then when it comes to actual showtime, and it's no cameras around, it's not the one-on-one drills with the cones, and it's time to put it into a game. Like you said, it could, especially with kids, which they don't factor in the mental aspect. How do you now take that as a player where everybody's like, yo, you suck. Why are you not doing this? Now you out of your game. Right. Mentally, you second guessing and all this. If you want to post it, like you said, hey, go for it, post it.
But perfect example. Now
you have to live.
I'm saying a perfect example is Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons is in the league, right? Number 1 pick. He's very good player, very successful, but can't take a jump shot for the life of him. He has an issue. Like we don't know what it is, right? And well, we know what it is now. Like the pressure of like where the videos are out, the videos circulating, you got all this hype around you since you were 13. Get to the NBA, now there's thousands of fans watching you. And he's used to fanfare, right? He's a big time player. Gets to the league, he can't take open shots. Doesn't take them. This just doesn't take him at all. Like the second baseman who can't throw it to first base anymore, just does not shoot the ball. And in high school, he could do it relatively well. In college, he was okay at it too. So he gets to the NBA, the pressure mounts, it adds up, and now all of a sudden he can't do it anymore. He just doesn't. It's in his head. He goes to a sports psychiatrist. He's seeing it's reported that he goes to a sports psychiatrist and he's getting that checked out because it's a mental thing. It's a mental hurdle for him. And so I think about that all the time. Cause I'm like, on a much larger scale, that's what this is, right? Like that's what this can get to. You're expected to perform. There's all this pressure put on you because this video is circulating. You're doing all these amazing things, and the second you don't, you sucks, and all that stuff's coming raining down on you, and now you're out of your element, right? You're just all messed up mentally. So I think about that all the time, and after that conversation, I really thought hard about him. Cause I'm like, he should be so much better than he is, right? Like I just think he should, and it's just that mental hurdle over because of the pressure that social media and the media in general can put on you, right? When you put stuff out there. And it's not all his fault, like, because he's a big time player, but he's still, he's still putting that stuff out there too. And so it's tough. You got to live up to it. I don't think it's something enough for young people to realize when they put stuff on social media.
Crazy, man. Crazy.
Like you said, it's the like button. And a lot of times it's from strangers. It's for some reason, and I can speak to it. I've been guilty of it. For some reason, the people that's right in your circle that actually know you, for some reason, sometimes it just isn't enough.
Right. That's not enough.
You need the person from Oklahoma that you're never going to meet or that lives in Indonesia to like your post for it to go up to 3,000 likes for you to be like, all right, I'm doing something now. I think it's something that as a culture, we have to work on that with how we view social media and how we look for affirmation. Something you mentioned, shooting is so important. What are the 3 main things that you think are needed for a shooter to be successful?
Well, the first thing I'm just going to use myself as an example is the confidence level got to be at an all-time high every single time, whether you miss or make a shot. And you got to have tough skin, and you just got to be able to just know that I'm gonna make the next shot. I'm gonna make the next shot. And the last thing for me, man, is like working out by yourself as a shooter. That I tell people that all the time. You want to become a better shooter, work out by yourself. There's a drill called the Superman drill. Get a basketball. You don't need nobody to rebound for you. Take the basketball, shoot it from the foul line. If you make it from the foul line, whether you shoot it, go get your rebound, go to a next spot. Within the 3-point line, you have to make 50 shots. And then you got to make 50 threes. You will become a better shooter. Because now the mental aspect and the mental hurdle is like, I'm in there by myself. I got to go get this. I got to get this done. So confidence, work ethic, and just, working out on your own, just doing it on your own. It's great now that we have the shooting gun. It's great, but I don't even use the shooting gun sometimes at Newark Academy. I tell a guy, we got 2 guys shooting. When you shoot and the other guy run to a spot, get the rebound, and get it to him. So now you're getting conditioning and you're getting shooting and you're working on the mental aspect of the game. This is what's missing a lot with a lot of these kids. When things don't go right, they break down. The better players today, their mental is so much higher to sustain bad stretches, when things are not going their way, so on and so forth. So I really, my biggest thing is the mental aspect of the game. Yes, shooting is great. It's needed, but you got to be mentally strong. You got to be mentally strong. And if you mix that with being a good shooter, you're great. You're good. Dribbling is important, but you look at a guy like Klay Thompson, doesn't really need to dribble. Mm-hmm. Curry dribbles because he's playing point guard. I tell a lot of people, I ask a lot of kids, I said, do you know the rules of the game, of how the game started? No idea what I'm talking about. When the game first started, when basketball first started with James Naismith, you weren't allowed to dribble. You had to pass. And then somewhere along the lines at the YMCA, people were like, it's too boring. Can we at least institute 2 dribbles? This is not me talking. This is all facts. You can look it up, Google, whatever the case is. And he said, you know what? I'm going to allow 2, 3 dribbles. But he didn't like it because it was taken away from the skill of the game, which is the passing. So the kids liked it. So you know what he did to appease the kids? Unlimited dribbles. Biggest mistake he ever made. I just want to tell him, why did you do this? Why? But he did it. Why did you say unlimited? So, it was all passion and skill and things of that nature and being able to shoot. And the dribble, I tell kids, you wasn't even allowed to dribble. And the biggest part of our game that's lacking today at the youth level is passing. Kids can't pass.
Facts.
Kids cannot pass. That's not saying that it's the kid's fault. It's like, and this is crazy. When I was at Dwight Englewood and I first got into coaching, Eli will always start practice off with these passing drills. I'm like, what are we doing here? And he was like, these guys can't pass. So I'm like a version of him now. When I'm watching the game, I'm looking at the little things. Is he throwing it to the outside hand? Some guys just throw it right to the guy like, yo, you got to throw it away from the defender. So the shooting and the passing is essential. That's what's going to get you over the hump. Dribbling is good. You need to, I couldn't dribble the basketball to save my life playing college basketball, and I was able to play college basketball. So I don't want to hear, I got to be able to work on my handle. No. You bring it up, turn a little bit, pass to another guy. You're done. That's it. I'm not the point guard. That's the point guard job. And the other part for me was I understood my role. You're a shooter. I remember when I was in I think it was 8th or 9th grade. Kev Brown came into me, and this is when I started seeing all these and one stuff. And he's like, "What you doing?" I'm like, he's like, "Stop dribbling and just go shoot, man. You're never gonna be handling the ball." And I'm like, "All right." So Kev is an older guy now. He's about, he might be in his late 60s. So he comes to all my practices and sits with me and sits at all my games at Newark Academy. Since I've been a head coach, he's been at all my games. So he will pull me to the side sometimes. They're like, "Man, you got to do this. You got to do that. You need to take it easy. You ride and chase a little bit too much." So I got those type of people in my corner who's telling me, like, relax, da-da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da, where, and this is a guy who's known me since I was a young boy, 8, 9 years old. And now I'm coaching, and he's, I feel so good to get, questions answered by guys like that, man. Like, look, this is what we need to do, and blah, 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 blah. So the shooting aspect is important, the passing is important, and the mental game, man. And another thing that's, lacking today, a lot of kids are not in shape. It's crazy. It's just crazy. It's crazy, 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 crazy. How can you want to play and you're not, so now if you're not in shape, that means you're going to get fatigued. Once you get fatigued, your mental drops. So now you can't deal with me yelling at you. The referee gave you a bad call. You're not making any shots. Your teammates mad at you. How are you going to be mentally strong to deal with all those hurdles? Not saying that because you're not in shape, but you got to be in some type of shape, man. A lot of kids are not in shape. I've had more kids, "Coach, can I get a break?" Yo, you 14. I don't think I ever asked to come out of a basketball game, man, playing as a young kid. But we live in a different time. You got to be more susceptible to some of these kids' feelings and things like that. So I'm learning how to navigate, the new coaching world. That's what I call it. The NWC, the NWC. It's new. It's just new. Everything is new. You got to watch what you say, and I just want to touch on this a little bit. I've learned a lot with how to, when it comes to the motivation aspect of dealing with kids, whether it's a young kid, older, a 17-year-old, or whatever the case is. Today in our society, talking gets to them more easier opposed to yelling. Now, with that being said, there are some kids on your team who you can just ream them out. They'll take it on the chin and be like, "All right, coach, I got you." And then there's some kid, if you look at them like you're going to say something, they go right in the tank. That's something that I had to learn. And it was like, "Whoa, this is how you deal with that." Like, for example, like Chase. I could pull Chase to the side and I could stand right in his face and I'd say, "If you don't box out and you don't do this," and he'll look at me and be like, "All right, I got you. That's it." But then there's another kid like Alex I got on my team. I'm like, if I really think you could have grabbed that rebound, man. Let's try to get in there next time. "All right, coach, I got you."
It's different.
That's where we at in society. But when I played, it was like, if you don't grab that rebound, you never playing again. And it was some choice words that was being used also.
For sure. It's a different era, but that goes into being a good coach though, because you got to be able to. A lot of people don't realize coaching a lot of times also is managing personalities.
Mm-hmm.
How do I talk? What can I say to this person to motivate them? I know this person likes food. Maybe do I mention hot dogs and they play better? Like, you got to always be
psychology
and choose what it. And like something you mentioned that's so true, being in shape. I made an ABA team just off the strength. They told me, "Yo, you just didn't get tired doing the trial." Not with talent.
I believe you.
Nothing with
crazy.
It was like, yo, it was people getting Charlie horses, people asking to get paused out. Hey, oh man, I need to throw up. Yo, you just was in shape. And I was like, all right, cool. Just off that strength.
Right.
Didn't even play well. You didn't get tired, it seemed like. So we invite you to training camp. And a lot of kids don't even realize how much people aren't in shape, and you being in shape alone
Get you over the hurdle.
Just you being, you can go for 45 and be good still. That other person that going to overtime, you already know I got the advantage. He don't work out. He not in shape.
It's crazy, man. Different time, you know. I'm learning so much daily, but you know, and then I have a teenager that's 16. I have a 13-year-old. I have a 5-year-old. So I'm getting all the whole spectrum. I'm getting the whole. I got one kid who thinks he knows everything, and then I got one kid who thinks I know everything, and then I got a baby girl who just thinks it's La La Land, and it's not. You know.
No, I've always interested to hear about the way you broke down the 3 most important things for players, because for me my whole life it was always 3 pillars of basketball. Was always shooting, passing, ball handling. The more I hear you talk about it, and we've talked about this before. It's not the first time we had this conversation. The more I hear you talk about the ball handling piece of it, I realize how it's the least important thing you can do on a basketball court. Right. It's the least important. Why you need ball handlers in the court? If you can pass the ball up the court and beat a press without dribbling, it's so much more efficient. You're gonna get a better shot than you would if you're trying to weave through 50 people. Right. Like it's a really good point. It's a really good point. I like that. I like that mentality.
And people, and you know, I say that, and then I have guys be like, "Yo, that's because you can't handle the ball."
Yeah, right.
Yo, but I played Division II basketball, and I was, and not like I just was on the team. Like I was a starter. Right. You know, records, 3-point records, all that. And once I realized, like, yo, you need to stop dribbling and just pass it and move, get out the way, catch. And now, when you catch it and you can shoot, it opens up your game. Catch, shot, fake, dribble. Now it looks like you can dribble. You get in there, you get an and one or whatever the case is, or you kick it out to somebody, whatever. So when I see kids working on, you know, the cone drills and all that, it's cool. I don't stop them no more. Before I get all agitated, now it's like, that's fine. You feel as though that's, you know, something that you need to get your game better, fine. But I know when I coached against teams in Newark, we're playing 2-3 zone. I don't care what you say, we're playing 2-3. Well, why are you playing them zone? Because you ain't gonna dribble through the zone.
Nope.
And one thing I learned about kids, one thing I learned about people that can't shoot. People that can't shoot think they can shoot. So you let them shoot.
Oh my God.
You think you can shoot? Okay. And you guys know this. It will prove you right. So I literally would say, when we was at North 13th Street, I'd be like, we play weekday today? I'm like, we playing 2-3. Why are we playing 2-3, coach? If you ask me that again, you ain't gonna play tonight. We playing 2-3. So we'll win the game. Bring the film back, watch the film the next day. I'm like, why y'all think we were playing 23? Can't get a straight answer. Take us 4 games. We played weekday, Shabazz, like collegiate or something like that, winning all these games. I explained to them, I said, let me explain something to y'all. I said, what's the one thing that we work on every single day, beginning of practice, middle of practice, and the end of practice? Shooting. Yeah. You think those other guys are working on shooting? No. So why I'm going to play them man-to-man? Because I know one of them can go by y'all anyway, because we don't play no defense anyway. So I'm not about to play man-to-man and have them prove me right. So we're going to play zone. And then I would tell them, it got to the point where they were like, Coach, we going 2-3 for this one? You already know. 23. Here we go. and so now you go 23, you go up by 5, and it's 8 minutes left. You're really up 15.
Yeah.
And you in the 23, it's like, yo, you got to make some 30-foot bombs. And I would tell the kids, and the kids it got to the point where the kids would be like, Coach, I need them to make one so they think they're going to keep making it.
Right.
You know, so it's like fool's gold, man. So that's just my perspective on things. You know what I'm saying? Man defense, I teach shell drill and all that stuff. I play man defense and all that stuff, but you got man defenses have to, you got to get a kid from a young, from that kids that know that from the foundation, from the bottom. So you can do that in the game. It's a lot of talking, it's a lot of helping, it's a lot of movement, it's a lot of rotations. And a lot of these kids are not getting that at the elementary level or the younger level. So when I get them, it's hard to teach that in a year or so. Before you know it, you lose 10 games.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So that's just my perspective, man. I think the 2-3 zone is a weapon, and the shooting is a big. I'll put it like this: when I have to play Caldwell, Cedar Grove, West Essex, I'm worried.
Of course,
because I know they can shoot.
They're gonna shoot you in the gym.
No, they can shoot.
They can pass.
Mm-hmm.
They can pass. Yeah,
fundamentally sound. And they don't miss free throws neither.
No, they do everything.
They're not gonna reach. They're gonna do this when they hit a three. It's just go back, play D.
No, get back in your zone because you know they about to play zone. You know they're not manning up against you.
Right.
They're playing zone.
Right. So it's just a different era. I tell parents all the time. I coach a different style. I coach a different brand of basketball. I don't know if your kid can play for me. Because I want shooters. I want kids that can shoot. If you can shoot, you can play for me any day of the week. Any day of the week. And I find it appalling that the game where you need to, the game is based on shooting.
Right. It's the whole point.
It's like you're a quarterback. I can only throw little screens. I can't throw it down the field. How are you a quarterback?
You're not a quarterback. You're not a quarterback.
Like, come on, man. You got to be able to shoot.
It's a fact.
You have to.
You talk about the passing aspect of the game too, and I think there's a lot of kids that get this mixed up, right? You talk about passing, and when you think about passing, a lot of these kids talk about getting the ball, getting an assist, right, or making the flashy pass, or whatever like that. When you're talking about passing, you're not talking about getting assists. Right. I want you to explain that. And by the way, like, this is for our boy Jordan. Me and him had a little spirited discussion yesterday about passing. He's over here telling me that RJ Bear is better than Tyler Hero. I'm getting on the side note. Well, I'll put that in the group chat later. But explain, and I want this to be, I'm going to tell him to listen to this podcast, but explain why you can be a great passer and average like 2 assists a game. Tell him why, please.
So, there's many different aspects with the passing. So a guy like Jason Williams, white chocolate, great passer. Like he can do that because he mastered the fundamentals of passing. So it's like second nature to him now to go behind the neck in a fast break. Like he knows how. It's like in the back of his hand, you know how to do it. So what I'm talking about is like, if we're running our offense, all right, and you catch it, and let me backtrack a little bit. Another thing that kids don't do is pass fake. If you pass fake a guy and jump the lane, now you get an easier pass. So my biggest pet peeve is like, make sure you throw it to the outside hand. All right, fake high. Go low. All right. No cross court passes. All right. Little things like that. I'm not talking about driving, drawing 2 guys and kicking it. That's obvious. If you drive and 2 guys collapse on you, pass the ball.
If you don't.
All right. You know what I mean? So just the fundamentals. And that all starts with little stuff. You start out of practice, 2 passing, going all the way down, coming back. It teaches you how to get the ball to the guy, bounce passes, overhead, things like that. So at the younger level, it's really, really bad. I see guys throwing 1-hand passes. It's just like, what are you doing, man? And nobody gets mad when, other than the coach, when they turn the ball over. I remember when I was when I played and was playing competitive and playing in college, if you had 2 turnovers, come on, man. 2? Dude, I've had kids where sometimes I'll count it, I'll be like, and you're the primary ball handler? Yo, you had 7 turnovers. 7. It's a 25-game season. Yo, you're on pace for like 200. Come on, man. You know, so there's so many things in the game, fellas, where it's not taken serious. Like, as a guard, you cannot turn the ball over. You just can't. You just can't turn the ball over. It's like a sin.
Cardinal sin.
You know, it's like a cardinal sin. Like you had a turnover. I don't know, man. So the passing is it's a big thing that's missing. And, you know, the only way to try to combat this and try to make it right is like just constant repetition, things like that. Angles, where to go, where to get it in, things like that. You know.
Oh, it's nuanced.
I think that's what you said right there is the fundamentals. That's, you can look at that in every sport. You can look at that in life. The fundamentals, your foundation, will lead you into having success and continued success. And you get to certain levels, if you don't have fundamentals, it is very glaring and obvious. And that's where you get some players like, yo, what happened to them? Why didn't they go to this next level? And you look at a lot of them, they didn't have the fundamentals. And that's, you know, the higher level you get, that's where you need it at, because you can't do the flashiness. You can't do those things without having the fundamentals, unless you're the 1 in a million, just God-gifted athletic people that you can jump out the building, but that's not everybody. But again, going back to the age of social media, we want to watch the NBA game and then just go out and think we could do it.
I mean, I tell kids, I don't mean to cut you off. I tell, you know, younger guys all the time. I tell Chase, I said, watch, you know, Princeton versus like George Washington or something like that. Watch those games. Don't watch Syracuse and North Carolina. Those are the best athletes, all right? And only 2 of those guys will probably end up in the NBA. Watch Brown versus Holy Cross. Watch that. Watch how they pass, how they don't turn it over. Watch those games. Why am I watching that? Yeah. So now that's a whole nother fight right there. So.
Well, you don't see himself. He don't see himself in the light of the Brown players and the Holy Cross players, right? He sees North Carolina. He sees those guys,
right.
RJ Davis.
And that's fine for kids to have those aspirations and goals and dreams. That's good. That's not an issue. All right. It's good to have all those aspirations. But at some point, you know what happens? The R word sets in. Reality sets in. I'll give you a quick story about Wesley Dickinson. Wesley Dickinson played for me at Dwight Englewood. He's about 6'5", 6'6", and had no right hand, had no left hand. Wouldn't go left, can't go left, can't do nothing left. I'm like, whatever, Wes. So we had a conversation. We was like, look, if you can't go left, that's cool, but you better rebound, be a good teammate, and just play your tail off. And he did it. Wound up at Dartmouth. Now, when he got to Dartmouth, he wasn't a starter. Played 4 years. You know, he played maybe 13 to 15 minutes a game, whatever. Great experience. But walks away with a Dartmouth degree. And he called us. He called me. Eli obviously consulted with his parents. And he said, he's from Bergenfield, New Jersey. Nice kid, great kid. He said, I played at Dartmouth. I got a chance to go overseas, but I don't know if I really want to do that, coach. And you know me, I'm like, I mean, you could go overseas. So I'm like, what's the options? He's like, I could go overseas or I could take this job. So I'm like, what's the job? He's like, I'll be working for Bear Stearns in the city And I started at like 1:30. So I'm looking like, why are you even having this conversation with me? Like, why are you talking to me about? I'm like, go overseas and do what? What are you gonna do? What are you trying to do? You trying to go to the NBA? He's like, nah. I'm like, done. He's like, Coach, you know what? I knew it, but I just needed to hear from you and Eli, man. I'm done. Done. Doesn't play basketball anymore. He's 20. West is 25 now. I think he's moving up to like a VP or something like that. But it's like, that's the big picture, right? That's the big picture, right? As a parent. Now, would his parents be proud if he was in the NBA? Of course.
Right.
Are they proud that he went to Dartmouth, has a Dartmouth degree, and is making a ton of money and is living a nice life? I think they're more satisfied with the second option.
Right.
So, and that's what I'm trying to get through to Chase. Like, look, you can use this for different things, man. This doesn't have to be the end all be all. If you're NBA, you're NBA. You know what I'm saying? And I think a guy that you guys should interview that can touch on this is Wellington, because he was right there.
That's what I was gonna talk to.
He was right there.
I'm gonna talk about that. I'm gonna talk to my guy.
He was right there, and he played on the highest level, Big East championship and all that.
Yep,
good guy. He's one. I'm gonna just say this about Wellington real quick. One of the last good guys that's around. You're not gonna find no more like him. That's it, man. Guys like that don't come around too often, man.
That's my guy.
Good guy.
So we gotta get him on the show, man. We're gonna get him on the show. We're gonna talk to him.
That's based on a couple of factors in the home.
No, we gonna talk. I'll talk to Chelsea, but we gotta get him on the show, man.
Yeah, if Miss Smith is gonna, let that happen, which I doubt. I highly doubt it, but you can try.
You gonna carve out an hour for me, man. You gonna carve out. He's gonna give me an hour.
How?
We'll figure it out.
6 o'clock on a Monday. What you think he's doing?
With the kids.
Not happening.
The kids.
Not happening.
You figure it. Nah, that's my guy. He really is. No, great guy, bro.
You might have to pay him. Oh, my bad. He doesn't need the money.
Nope. Nope.
What's this, 100? Get out of here.
Yeah,
get out of here, man.
You talking about, man?
That guy, man.
The last question we'll ask before we transition into the with the quickness segment.
Okay.
For you, what do you want to be said about you as a coach when it's all said and done? They can say Deon Mingo as a coach was this.
Let you perform to the best of your ability. Don't overcoach. Don't interfere with, let me run my offense. No, this is not about me. My time with me was when I played. That's it. This is about developing kids, teaching them life lessons, how to navigate the world. I don't have all the answers. I got some experience in life, whether it's with kids, relationships, basketball, whatever it is. I got some type of experience in that, and I'm here to help. It doesn't matter if you're black, white, rich, poor. At the end of the day, you still need some type of advice to navigate through this world. I got it. You got it. You got it. You know what I mean? So when it's all said and done, it's like I let my players play. I coach hard, still demanding of, especially if I see you got talent, it's 200% on you. I will make the entire practice about you, just breaking you down to see what's going to happen. If you're going to fold, if you're mentally tough, if you're going to crack and start blaming your teammates. You blaming the guy that's not going to play college basketball and you're going to play college basketball? Okay, good start. Let's go. So with that's how I approach things. That's how I learned to approach things, working with my mentors and stuff like that. And, just, having a good play. Here to coach, but this is your team. This is not a lot of coaches today. Me personally, I think they want to be in the mix too much, about me and me. It's not about you. It's not about you. So a lot of people have a hard time dealing with that, but not me. Like Chase, I do everything. I mean, any player I ever had that they could tell you, if you can shoot threes, I'm telling you to shoot 15 threes a game. If you don't get it off, I got a problem. I'm like, yo, how you don't do this? You shoot. What's up? Oh, I wasn't open. You wasn't open. How you ain't open? He was on me. You open. Shoot it. So just little things like that. Like I said, when it's all said and done, let him play. Like Chase said, he calls me the what's the word on the on 2K? Simulation. He calls me the simulation coach. I just let him go. Go. Just go, man. Score.
We have that in common. I'll tell you that right now.
Go. What do you got? 30? You need to get 40, man. Go.
We have that in common, bro. We gonna have one on the show. We're gonna talk about that simulation too. I promise you that. Because
and the X's and O's part, I got it. I know how to navigate and this and all that stuff. But if you got just flat out talent and you got a guy and you could just go by a guy, I'm not gonna, hold you up and say, yo, let's do it. No, just go by him.
You know what I'm saying? That's overcoaching. It's way too common. Like this kid is I know when I see it, go get a bucket real quick.
No, there's not. People always say this is a term that's been used loosely. He's a bucket. No, he's not. Whoever it is, I tell kids you're not a bucket. I don't know what you're talking about, but whatever. The only bucket I can attest to that I've seen with my own eyes was DeJuan Wagner and not the son, the father. I played against him my senior year in high school, and he was a sophomore, and he dropped 50 on us at halftime. And I was like, what just happened?
At halftime. Wow.
What just happened? It was so bad that they were like, our coach was like, yo, you can't play him second half because we're going to get nothing out of this, man. So he sat the second half. It was bad.
Wow.
It was bad.
Wow.
So that's what people are like, oh, DeJuan Wagner. I'm like, look up the father too, man. He was great.
Let me ask you real quick then, heading into our rapid fire. So is DJ Wagner the best kid you see right now, like coming up?
Me personally, I think he's one of I think he might be the best player in New Jersey. Why? Can pass, can shoot, not too flat. He's just, the way he plays is the same way his father plays. It's like a carbon copy. I'm like, this is crazy.
Wow.
This is crazy. All those little step in. You notice he's never like dunking and going crazy. Layup, short pull up, jump shot.
Fundamentally sound,
man. That kid has a chance to be a pro basketball player.
Yep.
He has a chance to be a pro basketball player. Me personally, I think he's the next guy.
I'd have to agree with that. The way his game is and how smooth he gets to, and efficient. And he's so efficient with his movements.
Yeah,
there's not a lot of extra movements. It's not 17.
That's just how the father played.
Exactly.
And if anybody have the right to say I'm a bucket, it's him. And he don't say it. It's him. He has all the right in the world to say, man, I am a bucket. When it's all said and done, that kid is going to score 2,000 points.
Easy. He's
going to score 2,000 points.
At Camden. He's going to stay at Camden, get his 2,000, go to wherever he's going to go.
They would never leave. That's home. Camden that's not, people think about it. That's 3 generations of basketball.
Wow.
Milt Wagner, the father, DeJuan, and now DeJuan Jr.
Kid's special.
But you never hear nothing about him, though.
No.
You never hear nobody, because he's not flashy. He keeps it low key, and he get it done. He has the right people in his corner.
He don't sell the tapes. Don't go crazy on Instagram or Slam and all that. No, but he is a problem.
Yes. Like, he's a bucket.
Is he your best? He's your best young player in the country.
Best young. Me personally, when I watch, I'm looking like 10 seconds left. Is he going to get it and start wilding out and dribbling? No, probably not. He's going to catch it, hold, wait. He's going to get something good, too. He's going to get something good.
Yeah.
That's just me. Now, are there guys more talented than him? Probably.
Yeah. I'd say so.
Athletic? Yeah.
But not better.
I see what athletic gets you with 10 seconds left. Offensive foul.
It's
Charge. Because what they try to do?
They're going straight to
God.
Yup. They trying to get a highlight play, trying to dunk
Try to
on you.
jump over him.
Yup.
Man.
Look.
That's the thing you.
No, I'm gonna cut you off, Tom. Go ahead, bro.
No, I was just gonna say what you mentioned right there is a mature player. That's what it is.
Right.
And I want to ask
at such a young age too. I think he's only a sophomore.
That's wild. That's wild. Like, that's the thing to me. So I wanted to ask you too, because I know that the third pick in this year's NBA draft was a hot topic of discussion, and me and you were in agreement on how much we like him, Melo Ball. Why do you think he's going to be really good in the NBA? Like, why do you like him so much?
Well, it goes back to the passing. He can pass the ball. Him and his brother can pass the ball, but he passes the ball better than his brother, than Lonzo Ball. He can score too. He can score, but he realizes that I'm so big and I can see over the defense. I can get the ball anywhere I want to get it. You know, I just think he's a really good like dictate the game. He can dictate the game, what he wants to do. You know, and obviously the talent is there. And, you know, remember people used to say, oh, he has a funny shot. He can shoot. He can shoot, and he's athletic, but he's a good player. Me, personally, if I could have did it, I'd have took him. If he was there when the Warriors picked, I'd have picked him. I'd have picked him. So, because that would be me. I'm like, you know what? That's gonna set me up if Curry decides maybe he just, you know, he starts to water down. Now I got this guy coming right in. Wiseman is a good pick. I think it's a good pick. But if you could get a kid like Ball, no brainer. I mean, Charlotte got to, you know, hopefully Mike doesn't screw this up, man.
You never know him, you know.
Well, you know, Mike, he's probably gonna tell him like, come on, man, you're not Mike, bro. Get out of it. He's going to say something crazy.
Yep.
Love Mike. By the way, Mike is my favorite guy of all time. Can nobody tell me anything different? Michael Jordan.
In case you wanted to ask him. In case you wanted to ask him who the greatest basketball player of all time is, he's going to tell you Michael Jordan.
Love Mike. Love Mike.
Transition with the quickness segment. We're going to shoot about 5 questions at you, whatever comes to your mind. And it's your own personal opinion. We're going to ask you some questions that people had. This is your personal opinion.
Got you.
Who do you think wins the NBA championship next year?
This got to be quick. Oh, okay. I'll go with the Warriors.
Ooh, okay.
He's lucky. This is with the quickness segment. Go ahead. Rookie of the year. Go ahead. No, go ahead. We got
LaMelo. Rookie of the year this year. Are you picking LaMelo?
Yes, sir.
You got the next one, Greg.
All right. So then, who's the number one pick in this year's upcoming draft based off what you've seen so far in college basketball?
I have no idea what's going on right now. I don't even know. I don't know who's who. I'm telling you, I don't know.
2 words: Cade Cunningham, bro. Look him up, bro. I think you'll like him.
That's the Oklahoma kid.
He's nice. Yes. He can do everything. He can pass, shoot. He's your guy. He's not flashy. I promise. He gets right to it. I promise you, bro. You'll like him a lot.
Who else is out there?
Jalen Green. You seen? Now he's flashy. Now, yeah, that's
Jalen Green. Who else?
Jalen Green. You got who else is a highly top? Jalen Suggs from Gonzaga, kid that's making some noise.
Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on. I know Suggs. I know the kid Suggs. That's the Gonzaga guard, light skin guard.
There you go.
Should be the number 1 pick.
You ain't seen Cade.
I don't need to see Cade Cunningham.
Now you need to see.
What that guy is doing as a freshman on that. First of all, when y'all get a chance, watch Gonzaga play.
Oh, amazing!
Just watch him play. Just watch him play.
I was hoping we were going to talk about that. Tom,
the Baylor game.
The Baylor game. That game got canceled, right? It got pushed.
Yeah.
It'll happen. Baylor plays great defense.
Me, I would take Cunningham is the pick. Oh yeah.
He's
Give me
tough.
Suggs. Give me Suggs.
I like Suggs. I like Suggs.
Suggs.
By the way, I'll be honest. I was sleeping on Suggs. I didn't know he was like that.
Why?
Because I thought he was a typical, like, he's a two-sport athlete, the fancy, I got to jump over you and all this. He's all over slam. So I'm like, all right, like, I know this already. He's Mikey Williams. Always Mikey Williams. Okay, I see what it is. I was wrong. He's way better. I was wrong.
Please don't mention Mikey Williams in my presence.
I knew he's going to do that.
Please.
Mikey Williams is everything you don't like about basketball.
Unbelievable, man.
I knew it.
Unbelievable.
I don't even have to hear him explain it, but just talk to him. Mikey Williams and everything he said in his interview is not. He would not play for me.
He's not playing for Deon. He's not. He can't.
Good. I'm good.
You even watch a full game?
I would have a conversation. I'll say, look, this is what I need you to do. Do you think you can do that?
Probably not.
Probably not. Okay, so there we go. That's the end of that.
Who's ever told him no before in the basketball world?
And he reminds me of OJ Mayo. That's who he reminds me of.
Now
OJ Mayo killed high school basketball. Mm-hmm. Never heard the word no. Just kept doing whatever he wanted to do, and now you out the league.
You know the story. You know the story from here.
Yeah.
Was it 2 PED suspensions later?
Yeah.
Now he's done.
I believe.
Was it PED or was it marijuana? I can't even remember.
I think it was
marijuana.
I think it was weed.
I think it might have been both.
Yeah, it was both.
It was both?
Okay.
Sheesh.
So that's question 2. What we got now?
2 more and we're going to get you out of here.
Okay.
Somebody that's from Jersey, well known in Jersey. Who's on your Mount Rushmore of Jersey basketball players?
Good one.
Brevin Knight doesn't get enough credit for.
That's my cousin.
Do Greg even know who that is?
Brevin Knight, you went to Seton Hall. Come on, bro. No,
he did, but where did he play college though?
Brevin Knight, where else did
Stanford, fam.
Stanford?
Yes,
I was never. I was never
all time assist leader.
I was never gonna get Stanford. I promise you, I was never gonna get Stanford.
Just to go back, Brev. I saw Brev play. So when I was living in East Orange, they would take us to PPY. Would take us to Seton Hall prep games, and I'm like, yo, why are we going to this game? They're like, well, you got a couple kids from East Orange is playing, so Brevin Knight was playing, and I was like, yo, this little dark-skinned dude, like, yo, he's all small. Bruh. You know, like when you inbound the ball, like underneath, like if you if this the basket and I'm inbounding it, and there's that first foul line, the guard couldn't get the ball past that foul line from the opposing team. Because he was so quick quickest hands I've ever seen. I'm like, yo.
Wow.
Still. They couldn't get the ball up.
Wow.
Doesn't get enough credit. I just think, people, they forget about him a lot. It's like that guy is a staple for New Jersey basketball. Like multiple championships, great college career, great and 12-year vet in the league.
That's what I'm saying. Okay, I remember that. The league is what I remember. You know what I'm saying?
All-time assist leader at Stanford. I used to watch those games. Him and Arthur Lee. Arthur Lee was the 2 guard. He was the point guard. Great. So Brevin Knight, that would be my answer. I know you wasn't expecting that, Greg. You was probably expecting me to say, I don't know who, Mikey Williams or something.
You said Jersey first of all.
I know.
Yeah, I think you'll say Kyrie. Kyrie was going to be in your top 5.
Top 5, yeah. Oh, you said top 5?
He said Mount Rushmore got four heads. He got 4 heads
on the Mount Rushmore.
I'll go with Brown. I'll go with Al Harrington. Al dominated when he played. Tim Thomas.
Tim Thomas is nice.
When I was a freshman in high school, we played Patterson Catholic. I was like, there's no way he in high school looked like a grown man. It was crazy. I don't know why we were playing him anyway. So I said Tim, Al, Brev, DeJuan Wagner. DeJuan Wagner got to be up there, all-time leading scorer in the state.
That's 4.
And
no,
you can't mess with that 4.
that's 4.
You
I can't even say anything about that 4.
Kelly
can't argue with that
Trippier,
4.
he's a little bit older guy, but he's one of the best that they said that ever did it, you know, in the state of New Jersey.
That's crazy, bro. Like, it's
I
so
mean,
deep.
Kyrie is, you know, you got to look at, he only played 2 years at St. Pat's.
He was MK before that, right?
The MKA, but it wasn't, you know, like,
it wasn't
you know,
a
it wasn't on
grand
the
thing.
stage.
Yeah, it wasn't
you
that
know.
stage.
So Brev, Tripucka, Wagner, Harrington, and who was the last guy I said? Tim Thomas.
You can't fight that.
That's me.
Can't fight that.
And I'm actually in the works trying to get him on. He's such a busy guy working with the Grizzlies now as a commentator.
Oh yeah,
so
he's a commentator too. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a commentator for the Grizzlies. So I'm trying to get him on, but that's a busy guy to get a hold of. Last question.
Another guy that doesn't get enough credit for you know, he wasn't as good as his brother, but Brandon Knight.
Yeah,
Brandon Knight, like Brandon Knight,
Not Brandon Knight from the Pistons, man. Hey, yo, Tone, what's up,
his
man?
brother. His brother, he went to Pitt.
His jersey is retired at Pitt.
I was about to say, Brandon, they got dunked on by DeAndre, all crazy.
Oh no. Got to touch upon your history, G.
I really do have to my New Jersey history, bro.
Yeah, so
I'm showing my age.
Brandon and Brandon are brothers. You know, Brandon is younger. You know, Brandon played at Pitt, biggest player of the year. He was a dog. Jersey retired. He's assistant coach at Rutgers. You know, back in the day when, you know, we were coming up, you know, go to skating ring, see Brandon, you know, you just, you know, because everybody lived in East Orange. You know what I'm saying?
That's tough.
Shout out to the Knight family. Shout out to the Knights. Last question. 5 people, dead or alive, you want to have a meal with?
Woo! Kanye West. Kobe Bryant. Tupac Shakur. Malcolm X.
It's a good list.
David Dinkins.
You don't know who David is?
No, bro, that's the mayor, no?
Yeah, he was
mayor
the mayor
of New York.
Mayor of New York, yeah.
Yeah. No, man, come on now.
That's Tone. Tone was about to go, come on, man. I'm about to say, you got to get new hosts, bro.
No, bro, I'll be aging myself, but chill. Like, David Dinkins just died.
Yes, he did. And I remember when he became the mayor. Huh?
I had to double check with Greg, make sure your face was stuck.
No, that's funny, bro.
Hey, thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule. This is another episode, another installment of the Bench Mob podcast. We're on all streaming platforms. Make sure that you check out his podcast. Check him out. Check him out on IG. Check him out when the season starts. Check out some games if they're able to have fans, definitely. But much wishes going further. Everything you mentioned, I think it's safe to say you're on the way to being the coach you want to be when it's all said and done. So
yes, sir.
Continue being great. Continue doing everything that you're doing. Appreciate you for taking time.
For sure. Appreciate it. Greg, I thank you. Tone, I thank you, man. I appreciate it. Happy that you guys are doing this. I know you're going to have people out there saying, what are they doing? That just means keep doing it more. You know, if they're not, you know, hating on you, they ain't checking. So just keep doing it, pushing out those episodes, pumping them out. Remember, the days you don't feel like doing it, those are the days you got to do it. You know what I'm saying? Right. That's how I got mine. So I just kept doing it. And it's fun. You know, you get to talk, you get to, talk to people about different topics and things like that. So I'm just happy that y'all were even, remotely interested in having me on, I'm just happy, man.
Hey, man. This is a good
Of
guess.
course.
Come on, man.
Yeah,
That's high quality.
exactly.
I don't like doing shout outs on my podcast. I tell people no shout outs here, so I don't like shouting out people, but I want to say, thanks to, all the people that support me, whether it's with the shirt, the hoodies, shoot or shoot,
So just shoot.
the kids that I train, the parents, everybody. The support is needed. I don't believe in fans. Fans come and go. It's all about supporters. They stay with you. You know what I'm saying? So, and I just hope you have a season.
Before we close out, let people know where they can support to get some of the gear.
Yeah, so you could go to my Instagram page, Deon_DM81, and the link is right there for Shoot or Shoot, for the store. I don't post a lot just to be posting. It's all, related to the business or whatever the case is. We just became an LLC, Shoot or Shoot. So everything is in motion right now. And we just keep going. That's it. Just keep going. And remember, if you can shoot, you can play. If you can't shoot, you're not playing.
That's a big fact. With that being said, I think we got the name of this episode.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's the name.
That's the title episode.
That's the title episode.
Right,
it's done. It's a wrap.
Appreciate y'all, man.
Y'all know the vibes. If you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. Bench Mob, we out. Peace.
Peace.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Hey, man, that was